There's not much that can save us humans. With our current technological capabilities, we cannot survive. To survive as humans, with our needs and greeds, we need to expand into the universe, beginning with the Moon and Mars. The Moon and Mars are our best opportunity in terms of providing grounds for the accommodation of our expansive nature, which cannot be stopped. So we need technology to provide us grounds and possibilities. Technology is not entirely there yet, but in a few generations it will be. If we don't follow the steps of stupidity, which we probably will. But before we get there, there's really not much you can do, except to wait, and then watch the world behave like forests do, with forest fires. You probably think the necessity of going to the Moon and Mars is not great. Think again. In no more than 6 generations, the limits will be reached, and we need at least 12 generations to have a minimum of infrastructure on the Moon. The Moon and Mars won't be going anywhere anytime soon, so the only thing you can do is stay positive and learn and study for the rest of your life. We can only survive ourselves if we all do this. Only then can we go to the Moon and Mars and beyond. But it will never happen. It will never happen. We are Fubar. We are idiots. Why? Just look around. Look at the idiot to the right. Or imagine one of your idiot friends. You know, he or she has done a number of idiotic things and will keep on doing so. Now look at the blithering idiot to the left. Same story. You want to see the biggest idiot? Just have a look in the mirror. Be honest. Rerun all the idiotic things you've done in your life. Now count them. In my case, it was approximately 3,738 idiotics in a 40-year lifespan. Now, multiply the number of idiotic things you've done in your life with the number of people living on Earth. That is 7 billion times 3,738 equals 26,166,000,000,000. Now compensate for average lifespan and possibly more than average idiocy of myself, and then you've got an idea of our idiotic nature. Still not convinced we are idiots? Let me give you a few examples. The world's population is rising exponentially. 2 babies per second. And yet we are having more and more babies faster than we can say diaper. We will do anything to protect our children. But we don't think about the world and her inability to feed and house everybody. We are putting our children in a place that is going to explode. but we don't see it. Another example. Our seas have reached exhaustion as a result of extensive fishing, yet we refuse to stop fishing to let the fish population grow back. 70 million sharks are caught every year for their fins, amongst others, and more cooking TV programs learn us how to prepare the most wonderful dishes of the seas, increasing the demand. That our friends the fish are disappearing faster than you can say tuna. In the Second World War, there was an area north of Britain in the sea where Allied ships, including fishing boats, were attacked continuously by German U-boats called wolf packs. As a result, the British government claimed the area a no-go area, which meant nobody, including fishing boats, could enter the area. The area was closed until the end of the war, 3 years later. In those 3 years, the fish population exploded. But will we make our seas a no-go area? Never. Not even if we let current fishermen catch 10% current quota and pay them additionally for patrolling the seas to help catch poachers. Instead of reducing the consumption of, for example, natural gas by wearing an extra sweater or two during winter, we turn our attention to idiot hybrid or electric cars, which are introduced as one of the answers to our global warming problem. Which is a problem, but not caused by humans. Do you see what I mean? We can reduce instantaneously our usage of natural gas by simply wearing a few extra sweaters. But we don't. We crank up the temperature in our houses during winter to 27 degrees Celsius because we think that is normal. This is an example of how we are our biggest enemies. Let me give you another example. In, for example, Spain, farmers sell their potatoes for 8 cents a kilo. Those same potatoes are sold in the supermarket for 70 cents a kilo. Now, I don't want to ignore the middleman's profit, but understand that we are accustomed to paying such high prices that first, we don't know we are being screwed, and second, as long as we can survive, we really don't mind paying that much. An even slightly bigger example. Since the introduction of the election computer, where no paper trail exists, many doubts about the honesty of this system have been raised. Without a paper trail, it is impossible to verify the elections in a transparent way. Our political landscape is populated not by those chosen by the people, but by those who control the machines we use to cast our votes, turning our reality into a false reality, where whiteboard criminals, aka politicians, can change our world according to their agenda. We don't see how politicians are hijacking our democracies to introduce, without making waves, the North American Union. This is a union that consists of Mexico, the United States, and Canada, to become a borderless community with one currency, the Amero. In 2008, President Bush signed the treaty. This will be the end of the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Also the European Union, the African Union, as well as the Asian Union will eventually be governed by one global council, the New World Order. Earth is dying. We have problems, but at the same time we amplify our problems with short-term and greedy solutions. If we would only be able to think as an individual or a group of like-minded people, we could tackle our problems. But that will never happen. Why? Because you think you are special, but you are not. I'm saying this with all respect for your being, but please stop thinking that you are special, because you are just as special as a cockroach in a restaurant. You have the potential to be special, but you probably didn't pay the price. Therefore, you are not. And this is how the global elite sees you, as cattle. If you will not use your intelligence, then you are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. And not only are you a beast of burden, but also the stake on the table by choice and consent. Those who control the economy and governments live in a theoretical world of numbers and documents describing their investments, their debts and credits, their wealth and properties, and through those numbers they change the world to accommodate their necessities. People are numbers with data hanging from their tails, giving the bookkeepers something to hang on to. Remember, the bookkeeper is king. To have a realization of how the world works, you need to study and observe for a lengthy period of time. If you don't study, open your mind for every theory possible, you will never reach the intellectual level that you need to even see a little piece of reality. Remember that what you see is like what you see when you look through a keyhole. It's just a little piece of reality. Reality is not something that occurred just like that. Our reality is one meticulously crafted by powers that rule the world since centuries. If you believe in God, no offense, you believe in an idea that over the millennia has been perfected by the ruling classes. The same thing goes for money, which really only exists because we believe in banks, not because those banks can vouch for the real value of the money owned by the people. And publicists, journalists, most writers and filmmakers provide information while being afraid of the public opinion or their employers, censoring themselves in a way, offering us biased truths. The elite know we are living in the 11th hour, and they know secrets inherited throughout history from the Anunnaki knowledge up until present day, including Sumerian, Greek, Egyptian, Mayan, Hebrew, and Nazi secrets. And those secrets are kept from the public because they know that they will lose their power and influence as soon as the general population learns from them. These groups, also known as the Skull and Bones, Illuminati, or Mason, pick their members very carefully from the children of their members, and carefully give them the knowledge to maintain their influence. They know the truth lies in mathematics and geometry. They know death is near and time is short. And now you know that they know that you don't know what they know. We haven't the foggiest idea. We as individuals are smart people. And if we join our forces and intelligence, we can achieve great things. But we as species have a combined intelligence no higher than 50 on the IQ scale. And not only that, we are also controlled by the established upper class. You may ask yourself, what do the elite want? Short answer, money, now and in the future. Long answer, what the elite want is an economy that is totally predictable in every way, and that can be manipulated by the click of a button. The elite have designed our society as if it were an electronic circuit board. When the output of the board is not satisfactory, the bookkeepers will change the variables in the circuit board, so that in the end, the board always produces profit. For the elite, this is wonderful. For us, catastrophic. How can we survive in our current and future catastrophic world? First, you need to know how you are constantly being targeted, watched, tracked, or attacked. To understand how this is done, I'll give you a small explanation. All data is transported in packets. Each packet has a header and a payload. The header describes the type of data in the payload and is also used to give the packet an identity, so that it can join the other packets of the data stream once it arrives on destiny. Using packet filtering, data can be found, classified, blocked, rerouted, or manipulated. Governments, big companies, and internet criminals use these techniques to steal, infiltrate, censor, profile citizens so that advertisement can be adjusted to the user's needs, and again, profile citizens to monitor their virtual and actual behavior. We, the zombies, must create a new internet, not connected to the current internet, not connected to any server. The new internet is called the mobile peer-to-peer internet, where the citizens' Wi-Fi and Bluetooth will connect the millions of smartphones, where each smartphone serves as a server, and will bring us free communication. This will never happen, of course. To control us, the upper class keeps the public undisciplined and ignorant of the basic system principles on the one hand, while keeping them confused, disorganized, and distracted with matters of no real importance on the other hand. This is achieved by providing a low-quality program of public education in mathematics, logic, systems design, and economics. The media offers matters of no real importance. They keep you away from the real important issues and offering public entertainment below a 6th grade level. Governments rewrite history and law and subject the public to deviant creations to shift their thinking from personal needs to highly fabricated outside priorities. An example of shifts in the mind of the public is the following story. Right after the 9/11 attacks, there were anthrax attacks by mail throughout the United States of America. These attacks resulted in a national fear so intense that even people in states like Arkansas feared an attack by Al-Qaeda. Remember that the anthrax that was used was possibly anthrax from a US military installation. The FBI, in an ungraceful moment right after 9/11, destroyed the one thing that could prove a link between the anthrax used in the terrorist attacks and the anthrax owned by the military, the Ames anthrax strain, destroying possible links between the attacks and the government. There are many so-called red flags that indicate that the official 9/11 history is false, or that at least something strange is going on. This means that since 9/11 we are possibly living in a world with a false history. We, the zombies, will never know what happened. But there is one thing that we, the zombies, are experts in. We are experts in watching television. Most of us watch television approximately 4 hours a day. In our television watching careers, we have seen on average a number of approximately 50 controlled demolitions. In other words, we know how a controlled demolition looks like. Like this. Like this. Or like this. This one and this one. And if that's not enough, check this controlled demolition expert. Or this. This. Or this. Nothing more to say. Do your own bloody research. As long as there are no answers to these questions, you can assume that the real answers are being kept away by the ruling upper class, the same one that controls us. But remember that assuming is a dangerous thing to do. It can make an ass out of you and me. But still, the writer of this film thinks that there is one way to prove if the towers were taken down by explosives or that it was just the plane crashes. All the plans for the architectural design of the building are still there. Also, one can reasonably determine what was inside the buildings and airplanes. Using supercomputers, countless simulations can be made. And the filmmaker bets his sorry, bleeding that not one of the simulations will give the same results as we witnessed on 9/11. Bloody mathematics can guide us to the truth. War is the best business ever, and history is written by the conquerors. It's now time to let the people be the conquerors, beginning with a silent revolution. So what can you do to change how the world is developing? Actually, not much. We, the zombies, are used to being directed to what we think we need. Human beings are machines, levers which may be grasped and turned, and there is little real difference between automating a society and automating a shoe factory. But still, you want to change how the world is developing. First, you need to develop yourself into a self-thinking, self-sustaining person. This means that you are responsible for developing a number of skill sets. The first skill set you have to develop is your intelligence. The first step in becoming intelligent is the wish to become intelligent. You just have to say to yourself that you want to be intelligent. Then read, study everything that crosses your path, and study the things that you think are important for the future developing of yourself and the world. The second skill set you have to develop is the ability to solve one's problems and the development of readiness for catastrophe. Example: if your radio breaks down, don't buy a new one, but try to repair it. The development of these skills will be crucial in the catastrophic world. Also, begin storing food and other stuff, like tools, toilet paper, soap, everything that will not perish. Books covering a wide range of practical information as well as entertaining books. Stockpiling toilet paper may seem exaggerated, but during wars, people have been known to pay up to hundreds of dollars for just one roll. Simple stuff like teepee and deodorant bring the feeling of being human in times of despair, and can be used for bartering. The third skill set is the development of defensive and offensive skills, both offline and online, to protect oneself from corrupt governments, but also criminals and profiteers. The rule of thumb is trust no one, share no information, and be honorable. Always. Practice martial arts like Muay Thai, Krav Maga, Sistema, or others, of course. For a start in online protection, I will give you a summary of a document with the name Secret 020, which you can find on the internet. It's a document written by those twats from Anonymous. It's good though. In the future, you probably may want to learn techniques to protect yourself online from authorities and criminals. Your safety depends mainly on two things: protecting yourself from social hacking and technical hacking. Example: suppose you were born in a city called Nerdegrad. A lot of people use the name of the city they were born in as a password. Things like place of birth, date of birth, current address can be easily obtained by hackers simply looking at social media. A hacker will try to use your place of birth to crack your password, so you should only use random generated passwords containing uppercase as well as lowercase characters, and also numbers and other type elements like hyphen, commas, etc. This is necessary in case of a technical attack called brute force attack. This will give the computers of the hacker a hard time decoding it. Remember not to use plain words or passwords. These can be easily hacked with a dictionary attack. You have to realize that authorities and criminals from all over the world won't let any opportunity untouched if it's able to extract information from its citizens. One way of preparing for the catastrophic world is to train yourself in becoming a person with hacking skills. The first step in becoming this is to become totally anonymous. This can be achieved by using a VPN, proxies or Tor, using at least Firefox web browser in private mode, using extra secure layers, or using I2P, anonymous email like Anonymous, and securing and encrypting your computer to the max. I will describe them in a moment. By the way, the best way of communicating anonymously is by not communicating at all. And if you need to practice your hacking skills, hack yourself or friends. Skiddies should stay away from big companies and governments. VPN. A VPN is a virtual private network. It's like a relay station that encrypts your data so that if intercepted, your traffic is unreadable. Use only VPNs that are located in countries with stable democratic legislation, like Iceland or Sweden. But only use commercial VPN and pay them with services that don't leave a trail, like Ucash. Popular money transfer services are never recommended. You must not only encrypt your data, you should also anonymize your computers and the parts that are inside your computer by changing the MAC addresses of the individual parts of your computer. Changing the MAC address is very important because even if your IP address is hidden, you can always be recognized by the MAC addresses in case your computer is taken by authorities. You can hide your MAC addresses by using programs like SMAC or TMAC. For anonymous communication with anonymous Nancys about anonymous idiotics, use IRC SSL port 6697 using vhost. Ignore trolls. Always. You think this is paranoia? Then you are probably not paranoid enough. Remember, everything that can be used against you will be used against you. And everything that can go wrong. For more information on this subject, visit the bloody site, or blog, or whatever. I am not even going to start talking about smartphones or other mobile devices. Just know one thing. Whenever possible, use a shielded hardline, protect your Wi-Fi, and keep one of those old telephone modems in your possession. Be paranoid. Malicious hackers, criminals, racketeers, pirates and bad governments operate like thieves who want to break in. A good thief always checks the doors of his potential targets before he breaks in. He chooses the door that has the least amount of locks or the easiest locks to pick. This principle also applies to behavior. You will only be noticed if your behavior differs from your normal behavioral pattern. And it is these patterns that have to remain untouched in the new, silent rebellion. The Third World War has already begun. Stabilizing our world is impossible because of too much greed and too much population. Evil, as well as good, is inside us. but we don't recognize which is what. The elite, those who control our economy and government, do everything in their power to avoid losing their money and influence. They are protected and helped by corrupt governments all over the world that try to maintain the status of the elite by introducing new cash to uphold businesses what will end in inflation. After the inflation, there will be a lot more creditors, and then, eventually, war will begin, because war is the ultimate way of balancing the account, by killing the creditors and taking their possessions, as it always has been. We refuse to study and don't realize that if we don't change, we will lose our future. We, the zombies, will lose this war in every way, because we refuse to control our appetites, our greed, our procreation. Our world is a world designed to behave like the designers want. Built on mathematics, it directs and redirects us zombies to perform our little monkey dance. We will never go to the moon. This will be the future, and the future is now.